to everyone who is here today. Some of you, actually quite a few I know over the years. There's some new names that I can see. Nevertheless, I'm very happy to be back here again. It has been a long time since we did a Zoom session. The last couple of sessions we did was live. So I am indeed very, very happy to be back here. And thank you, Jayanti ma'am, for giving us this platform of continued education. I think it is very, very necessary for all of us to keep expanding our knowledge and experience. So deeply grateful to you for opening up a new platform and giving me an opportunity to share what I know about the power of mindfulness, the healing power of mindfulness. So thank you very much again, ma'am. So I won't waste much time and I will just dive away right away. So the thing is that a couple of weeks ago, Natarajan sir called me and he said that, Madam, we are having this program of continued education. So, could you take up something which you have dwelt upon, which you have learned, which you have practiced, which you have dwelt upon in the last year, and could you present that to our therapist? So this was the brief that I got. And when I just looked at the last year, I would say the last year and a half, the one thing that came to my mind was that mindfulness, because it has been the predominant theme for me personally in the last year and a half. Last year, from the month of February, middle of February till I think middle of April, I did an 8 weeks training in mindfulness and well-being. And even before that, I have been a mindfulness practitioner for a long time. I would say a serious practitioner for 5 to 6 years, and not so more sort of an informal practice for almost 15 to 17 years. But last year, I had an opportunity to do a mindfulness well-being program, and I put it to serious practice, all that I learned over a year and a half. So what I'm going to share with you today is, of course, very brief because of the time constraint that we have, but I will do my best to encapsulate all that I've learned in the last 1 year, and I hope that it is of some value to you, and I hope it enriches you. So with that introductory note, I begin on the topic itself. So mindfulness. So when we say mindfulness, as we know, is often, for those of us who've been exposed to mindfulness, we know that it's an ancient Buddhist practice. It's an ancient Buddhist practice, which is at least 200 or 2000 to 2300 years old. And and it is still very relevant for our present times. In fact, more relevant than ever has been in the history of mankind because of the kind of times we live in. Now, the secular practice of mindfulness So the secular practice of mindfulness, it has nothing to do with Buddhism per se or becoming a Buddhist. So let's get that very clear. Because some people or some teachers feel if we want to teach mindfulness, then does it have a religious angle to it? So let us be very clear that the secular practice of mindfulness, which is what I'm going to talk about, has nothing to do with Buddhism or becoming a Buddhist. In fact, the secular practice of Buddhism, of mindfulness, no doubt it is Buddhist in origin, but in fact, if you go deeper back in time, its root is in yoga and the Tao. The Tao is the path of the Tao of Confucius of China. So the root of mindfulness is in yoga and in the Tao. You see, so because Buddhism is developed much later. Now, this path of mindfulness, as we say, is also called the path of awareness. Why? Because mindfulness is synonymous with awareness. A synonym for mindfulness is awareness, a knowing, a non-conceptual knowingness, just knowing. So therefore, the path of mindfulness is called the way of awareness, or we could call the path of awareness. You might hear some teachers or some literature referred to as the way of awareness or the path of mindfulness. Do not get confused. It is simply the path of being aware and awake in one's life. It is simply the art of conscious living, just living consciously from moment to moment. Now, there is something about the cultivation of mindfulness that is supremely healing and transformative. So the first mindfulness clinic or the first mindfulness training program, which is called a mindfulness-based stress reduction program, commonly called as the MBSR, was pioneered by Dr. John Kabat-Zinn at, I think, the hospital, at the University Hospital in Massachusetts. It was, since then it was in 1979. So you can see 19, so that is almost, do the math, almost 40 years. So in these last 40 or 45 years, there has been a tremendous body of evidence, a tremendous body on the scientific investigation and the evidence of mindfulness and its effects on health and healing and well-being. I personally, myself, like I said, for almost 15 to 17 years, have been practicing it informally. In 2000 and I think 18 December, teaching 37 yoga students a day, standing on my feet for 4.5 to 5 hours. I developed a condition in my back. I went for an MRI, I went for everything. Nothing was wrong with my back, but I just couldn't stand. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sit. It was painful. It was very uncomfortable. And at that time, I submitted myself to the practice of mindfulness. And in 1 month's time, I was completely healed. It just went. At that time, I was scared that I wouldn't be able to, I was worried that I wouldn't be able to continue teaching yoga anymore. I have had several other minor episodes in my life before and after that, where I had, temporary periods of unwellness, and every single time, Veena ma'am knows, I have resorted to the practice of the formal practice of mindfulness to heal myself, apart from any other medical interventions that I might have needed. So many of the things that I'm going to share are also from my experience. They're also from the scientific evidence that is there. And I use this healing power of mindfulness, the formal mindfulness trainings and the informal trainings with my yoga students or with anybody else who has got chronic health conditions. And it is the same story. What the research evidence shows in terms of healing, that is corroborated in my personal experience. It is corroborated by the healing and the recovery of most of the people who go through this, my students or otherwise, who go through this kind of a training. So there is definitely something that is there healing about the cultivation of mindfulness. Now, we need to remember one thing, that as human beings, we have a very powerful, innate resources for healing. What this is resources, we will see later as we go through the through the session. So just remember this, that we all, in yoga, we say it is called the autotherapeutic capacity for the body, right? So the powerful innate source for healing is there. But to be able to tap into that source of healing, that ability to tap into the source of healing, it will rest on your capacity for awareness and focused attention. That capacity to heal, it cannot be tapped into if you cannot bring awareness and attention to it. So the ability to tap into the capacity for healing within you, it requires by default the power of awareness and focused attention. You see? And this is where mindfulness becomes crucial. Mindfulness, which is all about staying awake, aware, and paying attention. I would like to describe mindfulness in 3 A's, the 3 A's of mindfulness. That is, you could say awareness, attention, and acceptance. So these 3 A's of mindfulness, the awareness, the acceptance, the awareness, the attention, the paying of attention, and the acceptance is what will help you tap into your innate latent healing power to facilitate your healing. Now, what exactly mindfulness is? In short, I will mention it now, but as we go along, we look into the definition. We could say in a simple sentence that this mindfulness, which I described as awareness and attention, paying attention, and acceptance, it is nothing but it is a paying of attention in a systematic and a compassionate way to your body, mind, heart, and life itself. This mindfulness is what will help you tap into your own source of healing. Healing is possible. It's latent within you. All you need is mindfulness to tap into it. So this is when we talk of mindfulness, it's often described as a multifaceted, precious diamond. Each side of the diamond represents one capability of mindfulness. There are many. Mindfulness is put to so many uses. But I would say that the true power of mindfulness in the paying of attention, in the mindfulness, the paying of attention, the true power of that is healing and transformation. You need to remember this. This is what you employ your mindfulness for. Now, therefore, we say that the mindfulness and this mindfulness, this paying of attention, it is not restricted only to the time of your treatment, right? But it is a lifelong, or to the 8-week program. Typically, mindfulness is taught as an 8-week program. I have done it as an 8 program. Right? So it is not, mindfulness is not restricted to the 8-week program. Mindfulness is not restricted to your time that you spend with your mindfulness practices. It is a lifelong journey, adventure in awareness. Literally, it's a heroic adventure in awareness. It is an adventure of a lifetime, beginning from where you are right now, whether you're in pain, whether you are facing illness or some difficulty, however challenging it is, your journey begins from here. And it is a journey of awareness. It is a journey of attention. It is a journey of acceptance that is hugely healing, hugely transformative, and it is, in a way, a coming back to yourself, a coming back to who you truly are, the wholeness of your own being, and tapping into the healing potential of that wholeness, of the wholeness of your being. This is the basic introduction that you have to remember. Now, we will take this thought progression forward. Let's take this forward. See, unawareness is what dominates us. Our unawareness is our predominant state. We hardly ever stop and observe our mind and see what it's up to. How many times do we do that? If we stop, if we observe our minds, if we stop and observe our minds, we will find there is a great deal of mental and emotional activity that is going on beneath the surface of the mind. I'm not talking of the thoughts that come and go consciously, but beneath the surface of the mind, the huge number of thoughts, emotions, feelings, tensions, fears, impulses, desires, cravings, likes and dislikes, self-destructive tendencies, habits. There are so many things that are going on just beneath the surface of the mind. Now, when this kind of activity is there beneath the mind, even though it is unaware, even though it is not consciously known to you, you are unaware of it, it is beneath the radar, it is beneath the surface, it can drive our lives. It can affect everything we do. It will allow us no rest. We feel tense and anxious without knowing why we feel tense and anxious. And it drains us of all our energy. So we feel fatigued most of the time. It can overwhelm our perception of the present moment reality, so that we lose connection with the present moment reality entirely, and we are unable to experience any kind of calmness or happiness or fulfillment within ourselves. This is a problem of unawareness. Unawareness creates a lot of problems for us. What is beneath your mind creates problems for you. Much of the time we are working on autopilot. We are functioning mechanically. We are not fully aware of what we are doing. We are partially aware of what is happening in the present moment. For example, if you're driving a car, if you're doing dishes, if you're cooking, I think the best example would be driving a car. If you're driving a car, or if you're walking in the garden, we have very little awareness of what we saw along the path or along the way. Why? We had only partial awareness, enough awareness to drive safely, but we were not fully aware to notice everything around us. We have been on autopilot for the most of the walking path. We have been on autopilot for most of the drive. This is how we function, and because of this we miss many beautiful and precious moments and meaningful moments in life, because we are simply not fully present and aware for them. And that is why we are never happy. We are never fully happy. If you're fully present in the here and now, and you experience the beauty of life's moments, you will be supremely happy, right? So this is the problem of awareness, that you miss the precious moments of life. You miss the happiness. You lose out on happiness. And a bigger problem is of this unawareness, or this autopilot behavior, or this complete unawareness or partial unawareness of autopilot behavior, is that when we are unaware, or when we are on autopilot like this, we are barely in touch with our body. We are unaware of how the body feels. We are unaware of how the environment affects our body. We are unaware of the effects of our behavior on our body. We are unaware of the effects of our habits on our body. We are unaware of the effects of our actions on our body. We are unaware of the effects of our thoughts and emotions and beliefs on our body. And this unawareness, this autopilot behavior, autopilot mode, the partial awareness or the complete unawareness, it creates many physical problems, because we are out of touch with the body and the signals and messages the body is giving you, right? The body gives many signals and messages, right? Hunger, thirst, pain, discomfort, all these, so many unease, a feeling of fatigue. These are all the signals that the body is giving you, but because we are unaware, we are not able to read these signals. We are not able to pick up these signals, and this causes a lot of problems. For example, we are unaware of the discomfort in our body when we have stretched more than we should. And so in a yoga class, because of our unawareness, we have stretched more than we should. We didn't pick up the signal of the the tension in the muscle, and then we end up rupturing a tendon. We end up damaging something in a yoga class, for heaven's sake. You see, this is the damage that. Another thing is the food impulses are very, very powerful, and they can be very uncontrolled and unhelpful. We are unaware of the signals of the body, the signal of fullness, the signal of hunger, and we resort to we ignore we are not aware of the signal of fullness, so we resort to emotional comfort eating. We overeat, disregarding the message of the body. So you see, this unawareness creates so many problems. Now let's just remember this, that unawareness is our predominant state. Okay, let's remember this. Let's not forget this.